Hi, everybody. I'm spiritual medium Kellee White. I'm also a psychotherapist and an author, and I'm with my dear friend.
And I'm Dr. Shirley Impellizzeri. Welcome,
Yay!
everybody.
Welcome, everybody, to Psychology and the Soul. We're so excited tonight. This is a space that psychology and spirituality come together in real, grounded conversation. And today's episode is one you're not going to want to miss. It's one that asks us to slow down, to listen differently. And we're going to expand how we understand the human experience, which is what Shirley and I talk about all the time. And we're talking about autism today. It's not just as a diagnosis, but it's a way of perceiving and feeling and sensing and being in the world. So this is not a conversation about fixing. This is a conversation about understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. They've come up with different diagnoses in our Bible, the DSM. And now it's all autism spectrum disorder because it's on a spectrum. It's often discussed through a clinical lens, behaviors, traits, developmental markers. And that framework matters. And they help us identify needs, care support systems, and provide structure. But they don't fully capture the lived experience. And that's the piece that I think that you and I find so interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
What often this is the internal world, how the nervous system processes an input, how perception is shaped, and how safety or lack of it is experienced moment to moment. Today we're creating a space for more nuanced conversation, one that honors both science and the human experience. I love, that's kind of the combination that we both bring as well.
Absolutely. You bet. And we're really honored today because we have our dear friend is joining us today, and her name is Prajna Avalon. And Prajna is an autistic healer who brings a deeply personal, embodied, and insightful perspective to this conversation. And she bridges the living experience with awareness and understanding. Prajna, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're so excited to have you here. Oh my God. And tell everybody where you're located.
Well, thank you for having me here. I love you both so much. I'm just like, my soul is so happy looking at both. It's just amazing. It's like I love like feasting my heart right now. In Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I'm in Ipanema, the girl from Ipanema.
Favorite place. I love that. So, Prajna, can you share what being autistic means to you and beyond the label, and share a little bit of when you were diagnosed?
Yes, so I was diagnosed, I think it's maybe about 3 years ago now. I'm 48, so I think I was 45. I don't think it's before that. And it's been a whirlwind, the diagnosis, in many ways. There was a grieving process because it's like, oh, okay. It doesn't matter how much therapy or healing work or past life regression or somatic healing, like it won't change certain things. It's just how my brain is. So for me, it was a big grieving period because I've been going through healing work myself since I was 17, trying to just get to the best I could be. But then there's this freedom of being like, okay, this is what it is. And then start understanding myself and all these struggles I went through life and how it's different and how, I didn't feel like I fit into the world really well, or how the world always looked so different to me, and difficulties with communication and all the things I'm sure we will talk about tonight. So it's what being autistic means to me. It's almost like I feel like each autistic person lives in their own world. It's like it's a different world, really. It's very, very, very different. So I hope I do justice in speaking tonight, because it's a very unique experience that is hard to even explain to non-autistic people.
Well, and when you think about your experience, what would you want people, if they could feel or understand, that maybe isn't visible from the outside?
Well, autism it is an invisible condition, right? There isn't a physical that you can't look at somebody and say they're autistic. I'm sure the people that are here with us tonight, maybe many of them have seen me from the beginning. It's been since I was with you guys the first time.
Wow.
Or I I would be very surprised if somebody looked at me and was like, autistic, look at, you know,
Right.
Right.
can see. So I think what I really would love people to know is, if you're with somebody that's different, just keep an open mind. You know, there's a lot of judgment that happens immediately, and now I see how much my entire life was filled with judgments from people, and I just judged myself. Like, I took on what they said because I didn't know any better. So I'd say, in general, you know, if you're with somebody that's different, keep an open mind, learn about it first, you know, and if you know somebody's autistic, then for sure keep an open mind, because it is a very different world that you're embarking on.
Right. And one of the things that we talk about on this show is often, you know, like the idea of going beyond the fixing
Yeah.
into understanding, which is why we are so happy and appreciative that you're with us today. So, but from your perspective, how would you actually describe autism?
Yes. So yeah, there isn't actually even fixing for autism, because it's a brain condition. You're born autistic, right? Like, you don't become autistic. That's how your brain is. That's how your neurons develop. So I don't know if I actually sent. I don't know if it's a good time. We can maybe put that picture of the two brains, because so this is how different it is, an autistic brain and a non-autistic brain. So what happens, you know, in the brain developments when we're really young, there's something called neuropruning that happens in babies, or until we're like 2 years old. So whatever parts of the brain we don't use, they get pruned out, they get cut out, and then the parts that we use get developed. Autistic people don't really have that, so we just keep everything. So that's why they just kind of massive sensitivity to everything. So if somebody didn't use like their linguistic skills, that got just trimmed down. If somebody didn't use artistic skills, that got trimmed down. We're all born with all possibilities, and that it gets trimmed down with life. The autistic brain doesn't. So feeling autistic is like that. It's like you're living this world of wonder and possibility and excitement and amazingness all the time, but at the same time, this overwhelming world, because you're feeling everything and you're experiencing everything. So it's everything at once, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, in psychology, we often describe autism through observable traits, which is what you're talking about, you know, where you don't have that pruning system. So everything, you know, so like social interaction differences, there's limited eye contact, there's reduced facial expressions, difficulty understanding social cues, preference for solitude, difficulty recognizing emotions. And I would bet that some of those have to do with too much, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like, if we're speaking to an autistic person and they're looking at your eyes, they're probably looking at your nose, like at your forehead. They're just kind of like pretending. It is too much. I mean, there's, there are those criteria for diagnosis, and I wanted to bring that up. It's great that you mentioned that, because there are like really specific criteria for diagnosis, like and these criteria have to affect you, have to have a deep impact, negative impact in your daily life. Mm-hmm. It's not just like, oh, I'm a little sensitive to sounds, or I'm a little awkward in social situations, because a lot of people these days are saying like, oh, I'm a little bit autistic, or I'm like a little bit there. But I really want to urge everybody not to say that, because it's one, either you just have some characteristics of autism, maybe you are a little social awkward or something like that, but the autistic person would go to a social gathering and take like 5 days to recover. The non-autistic person would just get home and be like, oh my God, I'm glad I'm out of there. There are massive significances. So I'd say, if you think you're a little bit autistic, either go look at it, because if you really are, it would help you to know that you really are autistic. And if you're not, then don't use that, because it's really kind of devaluing for autistic people that really struggle every day in life with these things, like these overwhelms, like the social communication issues, like autistic people, like if we're in a group, we can't really read facial expressions. In the non-autistic world, communication is not only language. It's language, it's body language, it's like facial expressions, it's eye contact, it's nuances in wording. And the autistic person is literal and can't read anything. So that's massively affects communication. So we're like having a conversation. You don't know when to stop speaking or when it's your turn, or like when it's not your turn. So yeah, it's all overwhelming all the time. You're kind of like in survival mode, trying to fit in a world that has no clue how much you're suffering inside, and you still want to try. Otherwise, you become a hermit in your house and you never go anywhere.
Did you know that you were suffering?
Oh yeah, always. And people around me knew in a certain way. Like people around me would comment, well, you're kind of like, I remember this one friend one time said, you're kind of like a little bird. Like you're not part of the group. Like you come and then you go, So it's always been like that with me everywhere in my life. It's very rare to get deeper into friendships and relationships. And it's always been a struggle in all groups. Like if there's to this day, if there's a dinner group, I arrive late so that I don't have to mingle. So everything is already happening. So you kind of like plan so you can survive around everything. So I knew, and I still suffer. It's never not going to be suffering. You just learn skills, how to deal better with it. It's not fixing. You never fix it,
Right.
but you learn better skills. The kids these days, because autism is so talked about, they're so lucky because I don't like the word intervention. They use early intervention a lot. I like the early supports. Like the early support is going to make their life so much better. But like now, us that were diagnosed as adults, we have massive comorbidities, anxiety and depression, and just, fear and social anxiety because we never were supported and we were just kind of thrown into the lions,
Right. Well, it's so on the one hand, as you said, when you found out that there was grieving involved, and grieving, it's so important to grieve because that leaves room for the acceptance,
Yeah.
And as you said, then figuring things out. Okay, if I get invited to a party and I want to go, I'll get there a little later so I don't have to mingle, but also, as you're also sharing, there's something relieving, and to not think, my gosh, what's wrong with me?
Yes.
Right?
For sure. I mean, one thing that's very common, and I'll speak for all autistic people on this one, because all autistic people are different. And there's another picture I want to post at some point, but this is very common for all. Okay, so we'll show this one. So this is actually my autism spectrum wheel. So before it was a line, people were either a little bit autistic or a lot autistic. So now it's more separate. So you learn, so you can see. Like I'm very poor on eye contact. Like the more color there is, the more of the autistic traits you have. Like so this is mine. Like I have, my posture is okay, my anxiety level is medium, my social difficulty is very high, my noise sensitivity is very high. My speech is okay. Fixations, like hyperfixations on subject, I have that a lot. Depression is medium, aggression is medium during meltdowns, and tics and fidgets, it's small. So that is how the autism spectrum is being seen today. But one thing that's common for everybody is being very literal, and very transparent. So autistic people don't kind of beat around the bush when we say stuff. We can't. It's actually a frontal lobe dysfunction. So, usually non-autistics, you think something and then you mold it in your mind, and then it comes out of your mind.
So instead of thinking, maybe I shouldn't say that, it just blurts out.
So my whole life I was either rude or said the wrong thing, or I was arrogant, or I was, saying negative things about places or people, or I don't know, all sorts of things. The entire lives, and autistic people go through this all the time. So there are some characteristics that are a relief now. I used to think, I was like, okay, am I a horrible person? Am I like bipolar? Am I borderline? Am I just a horrible human being? And now I know I'm not. It's just that I saw something and I said it with all the love in my heart and kindness that I have. It's not that I'm bad. So that is a huge relief.
Yeah. That's so, I love what you're saying, because, we're so used to kind of what most, we talk about the characteristics like you're saying, but what you're sharing with us is that deeper, what's underneath,
Yes.
that deeper understanding, a different way of processing information and organizing experience and responding to the world.
Yes.
And so it's so important, and that's what we're getting, with you, that you're so thankful to come here, is that personal, the deeper understanding, the deeper experience of it.
Yes.
Not just the characteristics or the symptoms, but the deeper experience of it.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
well, thank you. And I think we can take the picture down so I can see a bit better. But yeah, one thing that also involves the communication is like autistic people, it's called bottom-up thinking. So like, for example, I'm guessing that you guys, when you were putting the show together, you probably went, we want to talk about this. And then you went, okay, let's do this and this and this and this and this. Like an autistic person would go, number one, I'm going to talk about this. Number two, number three, number four. We see each step, and then we get to the whole. Different than the non-autistic world that goes to the subject and then starts structuring down and breaking down to what they're going to do. So that's another inner experience that's very, very different. Like
So you tackle things differently.
Yeah.
Completely. Like we don't have the bigger picture vision. Even in social, like you're meeting a friend, like non-autistic people will be, like there's like a bigger picture. Okay, this friendship's going to go somewhere someday, but oh, where are you from? Where did you go to school? Like, where's your family from? And then the second meeting, oh, do you know so-and-so? There's like steps. And then like, I don't know, the third or 10th meeting, they're like, oh, what was your childhood like? Autistics will be first meeting, why did you work on therapy this week? Because, it's just like, let's go straight to the point. There is no planning on what should be socially acceptable. It's just like, you dive in. And another thing is like chit-chatting. It's impossible. It's like physically painful. So it's just, that's another reason why we're such social isolates, because we don't have the physical means to chit-chat. Mm-hmm. So it's easier to just have one or two or three friends than chit-chatting. So the inner experience is so grandiose. Like you want to connect so much, but you want to connect in this deep, true, wonderful way, that really exists. And most of the time we're met with the world that is masking who they are all the time. And then we lose interest immediately and we just turn away.
Can you talk about that term masking? I've heard that in autism, but I don't know what it means.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So masking is what you do in order to conform and fit into society. So, for example, these days, I'll give an example. I even brought something to show you guys. These days, when I go to a concert, which I love, I bring this. Mm-hmm. And I go like this because I have really high noise sensitivity and I don't care anymore. Before, I used to pretend everything was okay. And I
so wait, I just want to make sure I have this right. When you go to a concert, you put something on your ears to limit the sound or block the sound. So do you hear the music then at a show?
Yeah, you hear it. This is just like what workers use when they're like using like the brick mortar sidewalk. Huh. And you hear it. I can hear you guys if I put this on, but it muffles it. So masking is, if I don't want to do this, I'm just going to go to the concert and pretend everything's okay. And then I'm going to pay a really high price of exhaustion, nervous system dysregulation, and it's going to probably take me days. And for some dysregulations, it can get so intense that it can lead to migraines, vomiting, diarrhea. That's how bad the overwhelm for an autistic person can get.
So what helps you kind of feel safe again and regulate? What kind of things do you do?
Like really, well, for me, lying on the floor, like straight on the floor, quiet space, dark space. I mean, depends on how dysregulated I am. If I'm just if I see, I'm getting dysregulated, I just turn everything off and I lie on the floor. Or there are fidget toys. It's interesting because I don't know if you remember, I've always used this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even before I knew I was autistic. There you go. Right. We always talked about this. Mm-hmm. otherwise for autism. This is, you know how dogs, when they're stressed, they like go like that? They go like that to release nervous energy. And so autistic nervous system is so built up and so geared up, you need to release it. That's why a lot of autistic people flap their hands, like kids hands. Like apparently when I was a kid, I used to hit my head against the wall a lot. And my parents just thought it was normal at that time. So I was just like a bratty child or something.
So that is actually something that autism appears like. You can hit your head a lot, or you can flap your arms, or
you do flap your arms. Like sometimes I even do it in public. At this point, I'm trying to unmask because the cost is so high. So if I want to flap my hands a little bit, well, then I'm going to flap my hands a little bit, in public or not in public. It doesn't matter.
Masking is kind of a way to be out in the, to act normal.
Well, normal for non-autistic people.
Right. Okay.
A way to fit into the societal rules, but it is what brings autistic people into burnout, depression, anxiety, especially autistic people that are on the level 1 of support, because it's level 1, 2, and 3. Like the rate of people that want to take their own lives is the highest of any groups on earth, more than veterans. The average age for an autistic adult is 39 years old.
Wow.
They can't take it.
Wow.
And that's because of masking. You're just like, you can't do it.
So they can't be authentic.
You can't be authentic, and everybody's saying you're rude, you're too direct, and you're too much, and you need too much, and you can't do anything on your own, and you can't understand jokes, and you just want to be on your own. Like, you just hear this stuff your whole entire life. It gets to a point that it becomes too much for a lot of people. That's why so much talk is about like spreading awareness about autism these days to help people feel that they're okay, they can belong. If they want to flap their hands or wear ear mufflers or fidget or leave a party early or just stay in their house for 5 days in a row because they can't talk to anybody, it's all okay.
Yeah.
So it's an acceptance.
Yeah. It's
I think an understanding and an acceptance. Acceptance is much easier when we understand. That's why I think the whole awareness idea, so people can understand it and therefore accept it. That doesn't mean you're not going to have an emotion attached to it, or you may not like it, like if, someone is very direct with me all the time, right?
Yeah.
But accepting it is a very different place.
That's so well said. Thank you for that. It's difficult. Like for my partner, she gets the brunt of most of the things. It's when I'm dysregulated, it goes out on her. Like there are some autistic, you can go either way. Like you either go to a burnout and a shutdown where you can't even speak. You literally can't even speak. Like it's called mutism in the autistic person, or you go into a meltdown where you're crying, you're screaming, and you're like out of control. Like my neuropsychologist, she says your brain just goes into short circuits. That's when you hit things. That's when you drool. These are things that do happen. That's why it's important to talk about, because a lot of people romanticize autism, a lot. And there are many beautiful things about it, and we'll talk about them too, but it's also a real thing that is dealt with, and at those times, understanding is so important, because if you don't understand, you're going to take everything personal. Like whenever I say something horrible to my partner, and I've said many horrible things, as soon as I calm down, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's going to happen again. Like even all the tools that I'm learning, and it's getting better. Like it's said in the community, it's not if you're going to have another meltdown or a crisis, it's when, and how to deal with it, how to prevent it, how to manage it, and how to recover.
And how can people be supportive to that? Is it best like when you're having a meltdown, when someone's to like a parent to a child?
Yeah.
Is it best to hold the space? And how do you hold the space for someone who's doing that? Is it best to let them know you're there? Put a hand? I mean, what would you advise? What helps?
Yeah. So usually at those times, we don't want to be touched. It actually hurts when you're touched. not to touch. And I'll talk to the exception of that in a moment. But it's best to, so if the child, because that's who usually is more in need of that, like I can get myself out of a place most of the times, at least it happens, then I couldn't at times, but just make sure they're safe. First of all, if they're in a place where they're not safe, grab them and take them out of there in the middle of the meltdown. But then get it to a quiet space, turn the lights off, just be really calm. Don't talk. Don't try to explain anything. Don't try to keep saying for them to do anything. It's just that's why autistic people are like this a lot.
Yeah.
It's like you can't take anything else when people are trying to talk to you or touch you.
So it sounds like what you're saying is just your presence.
Just presence, calm and love. It's going to pass. It's a short circuit that's going to burn and it's going to pass. It's never going to forever. It's going to pass. And then once it passes, there's usually an exhaustion, can last for hours and hours and hours because it's so much on the system, depending on how deep the meltdown is. I've had days that it took me to recover from meltdown. So then just be present, see what the person needs. For me, usually after the meltdowns, I do want to be hugged. And because I'm thinking I'm this horrible person that should never be in contact with anybody else and put them through that.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. And so, Prajna, when your system is overwhelmed, what do you want people to understand in those moments instead of just reacting?
Well, it's not personal.
Yeah.
It's really not personal. Like, just like both of you just now put your hands on your hearts when I said, about me, like that's what I would say for people to do. Like, that's a being that's right there in so much pain. If they're swearing at you and you're hurting from that, they're hurting 1,000 times worse because they're encapsulated in a hellish experience and they're not able to come out. It's not a choice. So compassion, it's not personal. It's truly, truly so painful. So just wait and make space, create space in love, like a pet. Like if a pet got really scared, you would like hug them and pet them. Just love. That's like one of the most, I think it's the most vulnerable thing I've ever experienced. And to come out of the meltdown is really challenging. And then to have the right person there with love and compassion and care, it's so healing and truly beautiful.
It's so fascinating what you're saying, because I think in our society we're so programmed to be doers, to do, that the feeling of impotence if you can't help someone, as you're saying, that's going through this, whether it's a partner or a child. It's so important, because what you're saying is the energy that you pick up on the energy. So the more regulated I am,
True.
the more I calm myself, the more it calms you. And that's just an energetic exchange. I don't have to do anything other than work on myself in that moment. Because yes, when you see a loved one who's completely losing it and dysregulated, you get upset too, and you want to help. And that's society do. But to know, just to take a step back, and regulating yourself is actually what you're saying you would need in that moment, what they need.
That's exactly right. That would be the most peaceful experience. And there's one case, and this would have to be agreed upon beforehand. Some people, there's what's called deep pressure therapy. So I like, if I had, like, I don't know, a 300-pound person, 400-pound person lie on top of me when I'm in a crisis, I would love that. But it's not very, doable in society or in general, it's not. But like even Temple Grandin, who's like the biggest autism advocate in the US, she's incredible. If there's anybody that doesn't know about her, there's even a movie about her life, and she wrote a book about this. She created a deep pressure therapy machine for herself when she was in college. So it's like a box. She would crawl into the box and she would pull this rope and the walls would close in, and then she would stay there until she stopped shaking, because you're shaking when you're in a meltdown. So sometimes, like, I love that. It doesn't work in my life setup, but deep pressure therapy, calms your nervous system very, very, very much. There is weight blankets that one can buy for children. Mostly it's hard for adults. They don't really do anything much, but for children, weight blankets. So put the child, on the bed, and put the weight blanket on top, and turn off the lights, and be present, like Dr. Shirley just described. And I'm sure this will have an impact on the nervous system over time. It only can.
I'm curious from a somatic standpoint, what does it feel like with that touch?
Release. Yeah. It's like you're trying to hold it together. Like when I'm having a meltdown, I'm sometimes trying not to hit things. Like many times I've hit things and have my hands hurt and my head, and you're trying so hard. So if you have that deep pressure therapy, it's holding you, and then you can let go instantly. It's instant, and then your breathing gets calmer, everything gets calmer.
Interesting.
So from a somatic place, Shirley, is she releasing that energy then by doing that?
Well, it's interesting because I'm trying to, because you would think that it would feel like restrictive, but what you're saying, it's the exact opposite effect. That
yes.
This actually helps you then release.
Yes, but it has to be with somebody that likes it. Like if somebody comes to me and just tries to touch me and hold me, I'm just gonna punch them away. Like
right. Not soft touch, tight.
No. Tight, like grab and really, 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 really hold. Like you see a lot of parents grabbing their kids and the kids are hitting the parents. I mean, it's terrible. It's a really difficult thing, but keep on holding because they're desperate, and they're going to stop. Like they're going to stop. That's what they need. They cannot help themselves.
Yeah. Well, there is a tool that we use in somatic, which isn't, the extreme of the tightness of that, but where you kind of just, hit your body, the outskirts of your body, and it kind of brings you back into your body. It lets you know I exist. And you do this with your arms and with your legs. It's not the same as what you're describing, but what I'm saying is that it has a similar effect in that it really lets you know I'm here, as opposed to just feeling so out, with no control.
I think that's a great tool for pre-meltdowns. Like if you feel like you're gonna go have one, then you can
that could help.
Down like numbers, and you can pat, you can start naming things in the room. All of those are like cognitive therapy, right? Like I've like done that too, and that's the somatic. That's a great one. And that's a big part of not fixing autism, but learning how to be autistic in this world is seeing the signs. Okay, I'm getting overwhelmed. You want to catch it before it happens.
So what are the signs to look for before you go into overwhelm?
More sensitivity. I get very sensitive to smells. I already am, but everything bothers me, like smells and sounds and lights. I start getting a little bit more short-tempered, like maybe the person is walking a little too slow in front of me, or like it's like and I start getting more within myself. That I'm closer to a meltdown already. I'd say the sensitivity for me is number one. Like I just get a more heightened sensitivity. That's very, very, very common. Like I'd say for parents, like if your child is getting a little bit more bratty, like if they're responding in a way that they don't usually do, just stop everything, stop and drop, and just stop, like just bring calmness into the situation so you can maybe prevent it. One thing that's really important also is for autistic people is planning. So that's a massive, massive one that will throw any autistic person into a meltdown of different levels, is changing plans.
Can you talk to us about that? Because that's a big, big one.
It's a big one, and I know it's hard to understand because, like non-autistic people, like if you say, let's all meet for pizza, and you get there, and it's like somebody says, oh, I actually want sushi, and you talk amongst yourselves, and you say, okay, let's go for sushi, and it's fine, right? The autistic person is not. They're gonna go into a massive meltdown inside. It's like it's based on rigidity. Like the autistic person's life is based on rigidity. It is not flexible. Some people have more flexibility than others, especially people that have ADHD. 80% of autistic people have ADHD. I don't, which sometimes I wish I did a little. It would help me with my rigidity. But people that have ADHD, it's a little easier for them in this regard.
So, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but if you don't, like, changing plans, saying that, okay, I'll call you at this time and not calling, it's something like the nervous system, you're prepared yourself for it, you prepared yourself for, or if you say, we're going to go to this restaurant, I will promise you the autistic person has gone to the website and already planned what they're going to eat. So it's all planned out.
And it's a function, you know, go ahead, Kel.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's a function also of the nervous system too, because I have the same thing, because you're, you know, avoid attachment, you're an introvert, you know, shifting from one thing to another is very, very difficult. So
Yeah.
Like you, I'm already thinking about, oh, I'm going to order this and this is going to taste really good and I'm going to have this, and you already almost have the taste in your mouth, and
Yes.
stuff to switch it. It just kind of,
That's it. It
Yeah.
just, you just can't. It just doesn't, like, you can't. It's not a possibility. It just won't do it.
Yeah.
And transitions are very hard for autistic people. So for parents, letting their kid know, okay, in half hour we're gonna leave. Listen, in 20 minutes we're gonna leave. A lot of parents do this with kids. 10 minutes, because it helps with transitions. Transitions are very challenging for autistic people. You gotta get used to a whole different setting. You gotta feel safe in a different way.
Yeah, and is that because you're so kind of in it and you're thinking about it and you know, like transitions, if you're involved in something, you're right there. And so to kind of pick up from there to something else, that takes kind of planning, thinking.
Yes, that's exactly it. Like in autistic people, we're very present with the present moment. That's why a lot of autistic people, they don't miss people, they don't miss family, they don't miss friends, because if they're not in front of you, you don't really have the experience of them very much. So then, you know, autistic people are very targeted as not empathetic or not having feelings, like you're judged in so many ways and like that. It's not, it's just you're present with what's in front of you. And that goes with what you just said, just with transitions. Like, I'm here right now. The time I finish this, I'm not just going to open the door and go, you know, be with my puppy and my partner. I'm going to sit here. I'm probably going to message both of you. I'm going to transition, and then I'm going to do my thing, and then I'm going to go. You need to, otherwise your nervous system doesn't even know what to do. It's like I'm on Earth and now I woke up in Jupiter. Like how do I breathe here? Like what's Jupiter like? Like, are these the clothes I need to wear? It's very confusing.
So important to understand that piece. So important, because that would, you know, I mean, that could bring anger.
Yes.
Then you get pissed because you're in a different, you know, you have to do something different and you're not ready for it. You're not.
That's why so many autistic people have anger issues, and a lot of autistic people are misdiagnosed as bipolar or borderline. Because of there is a characterized changing moods, because the day changes so much. So the autistic people usually have moods changes normally. Like, the more you work on yourself, the more you know yourself, the less you do. But I do a lot sometimes. When I'm dysregulated, forget about it. And so yeah, that's why I say it's so important. Like, anybody that has an autistic person in their lives, study about it, learn about it, because, you know, it's so difficult already to live in the world 24 hours a day, every day. It's painful. It's very, very, very difficult. And then if we're home with our families and they don't know, then you have no safe place. So it's kind of like, if somebody has type 1 diabetes, you have to learn about it, because if they have low blood sugar, you're going to have to give them sugar. Or if their sugar is high, like, you're going to need to give them an injection. Like, you got to learn about it. It's like anything else. And autistic people already feel so lonely. Like, we just feel like we feel lonely all the time. all the time.
I have a question for you. I was diagnosed ADD at 40, ADD at 40 years old. And to me, it was once I got that diagnosis and I thought, wow, once I really got into it, for me, it's been a great gift. It's like I understand it and it's the way I am. And it's a gift to me. So here's my question. With autism, what is the gift? Because I know it's a special gift here. And what are some of the things that people may not know that allows you to perceive them differently, or something about that for you?
Yeah. So you see a lot more beauty than most people.
Tell us about that.
For the brain, you see everything more like, yeah, we do perceive the world more overwhelming, but we see colors more brightly. We think more creatively. We love more widely. That's like autistic people are so, like they used to call like the angels, like blue angels. It's because of the purity in the hearts, the love. There's just such there is a purity and an expansive beauty in life. Like the autistic child or adult is the one that you're going to be walking with you and you're talking and suddenly they'll be like, oh my God, look at a purple butterfly. And they'll stop to look at the butterfly and be so amazed by the wing and the pattern in the wing and how the legs and the antenna, like, and all of that. And like, that's like such a beauty of autism. As you see beauty in things and in others, like we see beauty in others. So
it makes so much sense because you said that when you're in something, you're immersed in it. So
yeah.
Even taking a walk, you're immersed in taking the walk, and so you're going to notice every little thing.
Exactly, every single thing, and that is beautiful. It's such a rare thing for people to do, and that's, I talked so much about, or a little bit about, the difficulties in living with an autistic person, but this is one of the beauties. Like when they're with you, they're with you. Like if they love you, they love you. Like they'll be in your life forever. Like if you need anything, they'll be right there. Like there isn't a question. It's pure, it's beautiful, and that is a gift that is immense.
Yeah. So then let me ask you a question then. How is it for you if your partner, who may not be autistic, doesn't do the same for you? Do you then, does it feel hurtful to you? Does it feel?
Yeah, it's painful. But I'll say it's a pain. My partner is not autistic. She has ADHD, which doesn't ring in these places. It actually makes my life a living hell sometimes, with her being late and like, being so discombobulated about things. So we're learning, but it's painful. It's always been something that I felt like, I feel like my heart is way bigger than most people that I meet. And that is hard because that's part of the loneliness and the sadness. You just want to love so much, and there's also that, because we don't read people, we can't, like, we don't have the defenses. We just see people for who they are, so we see the beauty immediately. So the autistic person usually gives themselves in, and it can be hard because most people are not like that. So you're usually met with more defense, and you usually bounce back. So that's like a lifetime of this, unless it's an autistic person, then you just like, and it's just like you can breathe, and you're in the same room, and it's amazing, and the conversations just flow, and you don't even know why, and it's incredible. It's really beautiful because it's like purity met with purity. But yeah, even with my partner, it's hard. Like and that's one thing that is good for autistic people, like to reassure them you love them and they're important and they're good, because we hear negative things so much. We all have, and we all will continue from society. So autistic people usually ask the same question a lot. Like I'm always asking my partner, do you love me? She's not a verbal person. So I'm like, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? So, and that's for a lot of autistic people will describe this. So just reassure them, like just tire yourselves of reassuring them, because there is a part of them that believes they're unlovable and they're unlikable, because it is difficult it is challenging to be with them. We can't say, oh, it's super easy. It's not. There is the wonderful parts, but it's a bit tricky at the same time.
Yeah. So what would you say feels harmful, even if it's well-intentioned? What doesn't feel good?
Hurtful?
Yeah. Harmful or hurtful? Yeah.
When people devalue my experiences. So if I tell somebody I'm feeling something, they say, "Oh, that's too much," or "that's not true," because they can't relate to it. And I'm trying to explain, and even then I'm being devalued. Or when I tell somebody I'm autistic and they're like, "Oh, you're not." Or I mean, like that's countless people have reacted like that. Or they say, "Oh, I get a diagnosis now. You lived your whole life like this." Or, "Oh, I'm also sensitive to sounds." Like it just like makes you want to like punch people in the face after a while. It's like, really, are you that sensitive to sounds that makes you want to throw up afterwards?
Yeah.
So it's, I think anything that's not validating, like if
Right.
I'm just,
Or,
but I
yeah.
for any human being, like if we're sharing something, being validated is good for anybody. And I think it's the same in this case.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, that's so helpful because what you're saying is what feels safe is being validated and also reassurance, constant reassurance. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I can't express that enough. And that's like all over like the internet is like that. How much autistic people ask, is it still okay? Is it still okay? Because especially after meltdowns or shutdowns, you question, am I worth being with? Like, is this person still loving me? Did it go less, the love? Like, you question yourself all the time. I mean, as adults, I think the kids these days, they're being supported in different ways, but you were told you were too much, you love too much, you attach too much, or you're always too much, or oh, you don't feel too much, because autistic people also have a delay in processing emotions. So sometimes we're called non-empathetic and cold, but we're just trying to process because we're so overwhelmed. So yeah, the constant reassurance will go a long way in an autistic person's heart and mind.
I have to tell you, President, one of my favorite things about you has always been you are so creative. And when you go down a road, you'll go down the road, and I just am in awe of the road that you're going down. I don't care if we're talking about crystals. Remember that you did this whole crystal thing in your home? That was extraordinary. I mean, you go down a road and you go so far and deep. It's fascinating to me. I love it because I learn so much, and I get such a kick and pleasure out of watching you go down and learn so much from one thing or two things or three things or five things or whatever it happens to be. I love it. I find it, that is such a gift when I see you get to do that. I love it.
Thank you. And that's a gift autistic people have. It's like we call it hyper focus or special interests. So all autistic people have, either you have a special interest your whole life, like mine has been always like health, natural health, what plants to eat for what diseases and what smoothie to make and whatever. That's always been there. But then there's like the crystal phase, and then there's like the triathlon phase, and you guys have seen me through all these phases.
Yes.
I love it. I'm here for it. It's so great.
Yeah.
Stimulating for an autistic person. Like for me, like the past year has been like Pokemon cards, which is collecting things and adjusting things and lining things up. It's very regulating. I'll take the binder, I'll take all the cards out of the binders, I'll line them up on the table, I put them in different piles, I put them back in the binders. So and that it's joy, and it regulates your system because it's safe, it's predictable, you know what to do, you love it, it's your special interest. And if you can get an autistic person to really work in their special interest, you like,
oh yeah,
I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah. So I mean, so what you're saying is that the most helpful thing would be acceptance.
Yes.
Even if someone doesn't understand it, to just accept it, to be accepted, be validating.
Yes. And then get curious about it. Just ask, get curious about it. It's very, like there was somebody not super long ago that said to me, I'm noticing, because I have a lot of food selectivity, food sensitivities, a lot of autistic people, like the food can't be touching on my plate, it has to be all separate, and like certain textures I can't do. And so this person said, I noticed that you do really well with green things. Like green things usually can touch. And I was like, huh, interesting. And that felt so validating and wonderful. Somebody was noticing me to that level. That was just like, wow. So yeah, acceptance and getting curious about that specific autistic person, because all autistic people will be different. Like we'll have, like, the autistic wheel. Some autistic people don't have any sensitivities to sounds at all or touch. Like they're fine. They actually have hyposensitivities. But just get curious, but accept them and love them. Just love them for who they are. There's so much autistic people have to offer, just like with anything else. Like if giving the space and seeing, like, for who they are, like for who we are. Like you guys are giving me the space here. Look at what I'm being given the opportunity to offer, because you guys are accepting and you're loving and you are curious about it. So I would say to do that in life with any autistic person.
And what do you want people to know, not just forget about autism at this moment, just about you in general? What would you like everybody to know?
About me?
Yeah.
Gosh. I think, wow, that's a deep question. I think that I have my best intentions in my heart. And despite any difficulties in my life or what I've suffered from it, I think I'd like people to really see my heart more than anything, even more than my words, is for people to see my heart and feel my heart and feel the beautiful aspects of what autism brings. Like it brings amazing things for me as a healer. Like I'm sure I'm much more of an amazing healer from being autistic than I would be if I weren't. So I think that just you get with me what it is. Like you get the real Prajna. Like it's as real as it is, and to see my heart. Like to really, I'd love for the world to see my heart for the purity that it is, and yeah, to be remembered as that always.
And you are an amazing healer.
Yeah.
Amazing healer.
Thank you. Yeah.
And if anybody wants to reach you for healing, or if I'm wondering, Prajna, if somebody has somebody in their life or themselves, would you be doing a session for somebody to help them understand autism?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and there's so much that can be done in the energy field about autism too. I mean, just grounding alone with the nervous system. There's so much energy work that can be done to help autistic people be more okay. I mean, most autistic people deal with anxiety and depression and thoughts that are not great, or it's challenging. So it would be amazing, and for people that want to be with that have autistic people in their lives, in knowing how to support them, because autism is wonderful, but it's limiting. Like for me, my whole life, there's been so many opportunities in so many ways. I was never able to fulfill any of them because I never had the supports. And the autism, like there's executive dysfunction, there's societal fears, there's all of these things. So, helping the autistic people will always need support. So there's level 1, 2, and 3. The 3 is 24-hour care. Level 1 is the people that can get around a little better. Level 2 is in the middle. Like I go from 1 to 2.
Okay.
But to support them. No autistic person does not need support. There isn't. That is not a thing. It's a handicap. It's literally categorized as a handicap. So to support them, reach out and help them, like be there. And yes, for sure, I would be happy to help and support anybody with that, of course.
That's wonderful. Now, explain a little bit more about level 2, what that looks like, what the support looks like.
Yeah. So I'll give my example. So when I'm more on the level 2, I'm not able to really prepare foods for myself. I'm not able to really clean the house. Sometimes I need help just getting myself to go take a shower, because the transition between taking the clothes off in cold air and hot water and cold air and the friction of the towel. So the level 2, you need a little bit more presence of support. Like, I'm not able to pay my bills. And I mean, we need like a whole other show for this, because people are like, what do you mean? But it's like, you can't, like, you really are not able to do basic functions in life.
So what would that look like then? I mean, I love how you describe like the taking a shower, because people who are autistic don't notice all these differences. But yes,
Yeah.
take off your clothes and there's cold, then you get in the shower, then there's hot, then the friction of it. So if you're having a hard time, kind of, I'll say it like this and you can correct me, mustering enough energy to go through every different sensation that requires taking a shower, how can someone support you in that, or someone support someone in that?
Doing it with them. Like, when I'm like that, like, my partner has come and she helps me take my clothes off, and she's like, okay, let's get the bathroom warmed up with steam before you get in there. Because all of these steps that you just described wreck a nervous system that's already not working. I mean, I just heard somebody, she's very outspoken about autism in Brazil. She's getting a hysterectomy because she cannot tend to her cleanliness when she has her period enough, and she gets rashes and they bleed, and it's too much. It goes from level 1 to level 2, like me. So it's that much. So just paying attention to what the person actually needs and helping them, just really, really helping them. Literally helping them. It doesn't matter if they're 5 years old or they're 6 years old or 48 years old. Like, they need support and love.
Being there with them, trying to make the environment a little bit more comfortable, or even, as you're saying, what I hear you saying is walking them through it.
Yes, walking them through it. And sometimes they won't. Like, sometimes they'll say, I am not doing it, and then just leave it, because you will create a meltdown. So it's really learning about the person and respecting and accepting, and just, then you didn't win that with them, but you might be able to make them some food and be like, and then go for their safe food. If they're on a level 2, go for their safe food, which is that food that's tried and true. Like, it's like foolproof. So, and that they're gonna love, even if it's like toast and butter, just get it to them, like something that is easy. Don't go anything, don't get like fruits or veggies. All of that has different textures. Like an apple never tastes the same, so don't ever give an autistic person apple as a regulated kind of thing, like, you gotta think of all of these little details, but just walk through them, and usually they can guide you through it pretty well if you're with them and you're asking.
That is fascinating. I love this, because it's really creating awareness, and awareness, changes how we relate, not just to others, but to ourselves. We can't understand something or shift something without the awareness.
Yes.
And when we begin to understand differences at the level of the nervous system and the lived experiences you've been sharing with us, we can move from judgment to compassion. And that is
well, that's so true, Shirley. And so I think to finish this up with you tonight, because we could go on and on and on, and I'm just in awe of you, and I love this conversation. But if somebody's listening right now, whether it's a partner or a parent or a friend, what's one thing that you would want them to understand that could change how they show up for somebody with autism?
Just like Shirley said, presence. Just be present and be curious. The more you're curious about that person, the more you learn about them, you're gonna help their world feel safe. And that's one thing autistic people don't ever feel is safe, ever, unless they're like in their home, and even then, because then you feel lonely. So learn about them, ask, learn, research, like read about autism, be there for them. Like, being an autistic person, safe space. Ooh, like it's
and from somatic and nervous system, where is really where I find so fascinating. I hear what you're saying too, is the best thing that you can do is to keep yourself regulated. That is the best thing that you can do for them, is to keep yourself as regulated as possible.
Yes, always, always. And if you're not regulated, go and then come back. Because if you have the capacity to regulate way better than the autistic person. So it's one of those partnerships that, you got that better. The autistic person, maybe, I don't know, will be able to, I don't know, tell you about your finances better and all the numbers and all whatever. Like, but in terms of regulating, everybody that is listening and that is a supportive person for an autistic person, please regulate yourself first and then reach out. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, Prajna, I just really want to thank you. Shirley and I want to thank you truly for your openness and your honesty, which I've always loved, and the way you share your experience with so much depth and so much clarity. It's so helpful, because conversations like this matter. I think they're so important to hear. And so we're grateful that you were here today. And if anybody would like to learn more about Prajna, go to prajnaavalon.com, and you could see this on our website, on our show, prajnaavalon.com.
Yeah. She's a gifted energy worker.
Oh, absolutely. I really highly encourage you guys to have sessions with Prajna and explore her work. She's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And Shirley, on our next week, we're doing a show next week on narcissistic patterns and self-protection, what you need to know. So we're going to break down narcissism, everybody. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait too.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Prajna. Thank you, Shirley.
Prajna. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.